whenever parents ask me, like, okay, you've just described this world, what do you tell your own kids? What I say, and my own kids are sick of hearing this, but what I say is there's four things, four pieces of advice I have. How to approach this world, or how to lean in, to use one of Cheryl's terms. First, think like an immigrant. How does a new immigrant think? Think like a new immigrant. New immigrant thinks, I just showed up here in Colorado, and there is no legacy spot waiting for me at the University of Denver. I better figure out what's going on here, where the best opportunities are, and pursue them with greater vigor than anybody else. I have an Armenian friend who likes to say new immigrants are paranoid optimists. They are optimists because they picked up from somewhere worse and came somewhere they thought would be better, and they are paranoid. They think it can be taken from them any moment. Think like an immigrant. Stay hungry. Second, think like an artisan. I got this idea from Larry Katz at Harvard, great labor economist. Who was the artisan? Artisan was that person before mass manufacturing who made every item individually, every saddle, every piece of cutlery, every plate, every table, every piece of clothing, every shoe, the artisan made individually. And what did the best artisans do? They carved their initials into their work. That is, they brought so much individual extra to it, they took so much pride in it, they carved their initials into it. Do your job every day as if you wanted to carve your initials into it at the end of the day, because you brought so much value add to it, your boss would never think of letting you go. Third, I got this idea from Reid Hoffman at LinkedIn. Always think like a startup in Silicon Valley, even as an individual. Reid wrote a great book, The Startup of You, which is about this. Reid always likes to say in Silicon Valley there's only one four-letter word. It starts with F actually, but it actually isn't four letters. And that word is finished. If you ever think you're finished, you really are finished. Always think of yourself as a work in progress. Always be learning, relearning, re-engineering, and reinventing, because the world doesn't care what you know. The Google machine knows everything. The world only cares what you can do with what you know. And lastly, think like a waitress at Perkins Pancake House in Minneapolis, my favorite restaurant. Okay? When I was working on the book, I went to have breakfast at Perkins on France Avenue and Highway 100 with my best friend Ken Greer. And 7 in the morning, I ordered 3 buttermilk pancakes and scrambled egg. Ken ordered 3 buttermilk pancakes and fruit. And after 15 minutes, the waitress came, put our 2 plates down, and all she said to Ken was, "I gave you extra fruit." She got a 50% tip. Why? Because that waitress didn't control much, but she controlled the fruit ladle. And that was her extra. What was that waitress doing? In her own little universe, she was thinking entrepreneurially. I'm going to give this guy a little extra dollop of fruit. Think entrepreneurially in whatever you do. Where can I fork this off? Find a new job. Find a new opportunity. Find a new business. Every boss today in a hyper-connected world, Ellen Coleman from DuPont in our book, she said something that really struck me. She said, I need every employee at DuPont to be present, to be paying attention. Where's there a new opportunity here? The world's moving too fast for Ellen Coleman at the pyramid, top of the pyramid in DuPont, to know that you could fork this off Kevlar or whatever. Think entrepreneurially in whatever you do. So my advice is, I'll end here on this. Think like an immigrant, stay hungry. Think like an artisan, take pride. Think like a starter-upper, and always be in beta. And think like a waitress at Perkins Pancake House. And always be entrepreneurial, because we really do, I can say as a Minnesotan, live in Garrison Keillor's Lake Wobegon.